The 40 Days for Life movement began in College Station, Texas in 2004. 2 years later, Green Bay was the third city to join. There are now hundreds of chapters around the country and around the world. With humility, sincerity, and charity, twice a year, hundreds of volunteers prayed outside Green Bay's sole abortion facility, praying that it would one day close. In 2013, God answered their prayers, and this is part of their journey.
I'd like to thank each and every one of you. I know it's kind of cold here this afternoon, but I'm talking to a tough crowd because I know you're walking around here in the middle of blizzards and snowstorms.
On a bitterly cold November evening in 2012, 40 Days for Life closed its 6th annual Green Bay Fall Vigil with a candlelight ceremony.
This event marks the end of 40 days of peaceful, prayerful vigil in front of the abortion facilities over here on Webster Avenue. Volunteers have been outside this abortion facility located in the Bellin Medical Arts building around the clock for 40 days, surrounding the building with prayer and a show of love for all human life. We call these volunteers prayer warriors. In addition to roughly 200 prayer warriors from all over northeastern Wisconsin, our Green Bay Vigil was also blessed last month to have Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s niece, Dr. Alveda King, join us on the sidewalk.
Life is a gift. It's a gift from our Creator, a gift from God, and it is a natural right, first of all. Secondly, it's a civil right. We have it enshrined in our Constitution. And so somehow that gets skipped over by everybody who justifies abortions and promoting this industry of abortions. We have to make sure that we stand up for constitutional rights. We have to vote for life, and we have to work hard at persuading and helping people to see the truth.
Volunteers prayed for abortion facility workers to leave the industry and for abortion-minded women to choose life. They prayed healing would come to those who've had abortions and now suffer the anguish of their decision.
During my career as an obstetrical nurse, I have seen firsthand the devastating results of abortion. Abortion is a medical procedure, whether it's chemical or surgical, and it carries heavy physical risks to the woman. Following an abortion, there's an immediate sense of relief. She feels that she's been released from her trap, the problem's over, and her life can resume as it was pre-pregnancy. The fact is there is no quick fix, and what begins as a slow emotional and spiritual hemorrhage for her. This relief and denial can last months and even years before significant psychological problems develop.
Everything she said, we do in fact go through, and I did. After dating for a few months with this gentleman, I found out I was pregnant. My sister, who had also just found out she was pregnant, and had called me, and we had talked, and we came up with a solution. It was Planned Parenthood in Appleton. I honestly believe that the abortion didn't happen in the clinic. I honestly believe that that abortion then happened in my apartment while I hemorrhaged for the next 2 days. The next 6 months of my life are what I affectionately refer to as an alcoholic blur. Fast forward for 20 years of really bad decisions and and another unplanned pregnancy, which I then kept and have raised, and she is now a beautiful 26-year-old mom of her own. God is really good. He really, really is. So then, about 12 years ago, I realized that I was having issues. I was depressed. I was going in for counseling. I was on medications. And then my nephew, who I had helped raise, committed suicide. At his funeral, I overhear his girlfriend saying that he committed suicide because she had had an abortion and not told him until after it happened. So at this point, abortion has directly cost me 3 lives. It set me into a tailspin. I saw countless counselors in that 20-year span. No one ever asked me, did you have an abortion? No one ever bothered to mention that that might be part of the problem. And it is the problem. Because I was in a good church, because I had good people with me, I got to a place where I went to a Rachel's Vineyard. And I went to a Rachel's Vineyard, and God worked his magic through a weekend retreat and brought me to a place where I could understand why all of this was so unnerving to me. Why what I had done was not just get rid of a mass of tissue, which is what they told me I had done. I had gotten rid of my son. I had murdered a child, my child. And as it turns out, God wanted me at that altar all that time, giving myself back to him. But what he really needed me to do, what I really had to do after that retreat, was to bring Messick, my son, with me to the altar and give them back to God. Without doing that, he couldn't heal me because he didn't have all of me. So we got past it. God showed me that he's got Messick in his arms waiting for me when I get there. Literally gave me a picture of that over the weekend, of my son in Jesus' arms waiting for me when I get there. If that's not healing, I don't know what it is. God is good. God is good.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Oh, good and gracious God, you are the author of life. And we
By the grace of God, 9 months after that 40 Days for Life candlelight vigil, the Green Bay Abortion Facility closed its doors permanently, ending the practice of surgical abortions in the city of Green Bay.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses.
40 Days for Life in Green Bay now begins a new chapter in its history, peacefully praying outside Planned Parenthood's Green Bay location, praying for an end to the culture of promiscuity which Planned Parenthood promotes.